Welcome back to the Creator Incorporated, a special fun episode today. Everyone clap it up. Claire, please clap it up. Great. So we're doing a little internal assessment. I like the idea of a little bit of a performance review. This is our 8th episode. So we've been at it for now 2 months. And I think it's good to take a little step back and talk about how things are going. We're joined by Geno Schellenberger. You've heard his voice, producer Mike. And then we got Claire. Claire, how do you say your last name? I've known you for a long time now. I don't know how to say your last name.
Hardesty.
Hardesty. Hardesty or Hardesty?
Hardesty.
Hardesty.
No, dest. Yeah.
Okay. Hardesty.
Hardesty.
Great start, Claire. It's great to have you. And do you want to quickly introduce yourself to the people? Maybe they've heard your voice and they've seen you on social media, but want to give a little intro.
Yeah, sure. I'm Claire. I'm Jack's virtual assistant, though I did meet him in person once. I'm a senior at UNC Chapel Hill, graduate in May. I want to live in New York eventually. I'm originally from Los Angeles. I have my California license plate on my wall. I also have other room decor, but we can get into that later.
Great. That's great, Claire. Yeah, Claire's running the social media for the Creator Incorporated. She's doing her own thing. She posted last night, I saw on TikTok. This is like the fun part of this is, Claire will just post stuff and I may or may not see it. And then last night she just posted a little selfie video on TikTok of her talking about one of the episodes, which is great.
Yeah, you want the autonomy there.
And Geno, what's your situation?
My situation right now is complicated. No, I am we're co-founders of Breaking Entering Media.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking Entering Media is the parent company, which the other podcast that we have in our media mix is Breaking and Entering Advertising. It's an advertising podcast. So I've been doing that for about 5 years now, helping people get into ad agencies, and you're kind of exploring the creator route. So you're hosting this show. I kind of produce, sit on the back end, make sure the levels are good for your show, and you do the same for my show. And we're both at the top for the business stuff.
And Claire is helping out on the social media for both.
Mm-hmm.
So I found Claire via the internet back in the day when we were looking for someone to run the social media for the Creator Incorporated. We put the word out, and then Claire connected with me on LinkedIn, and I assumed that it was because of that. And then I was like, hey, do you want to do this? And she was like, what are you talking about? But maybe. So I was like, okay, so she didn't know about it. But then I talked to Claire, and I was like, she's got something. She is different in the best way, Claire.
The thing that Jack said about her, because I didn't interview her, things might have gone a lot different if I interviewed her. That's all I'm going to say. Was she loves being on her phone. And I was like, wait, we were both like, that's perfect. And you got to be on your phone if you want to get into social media. That's for sure.
She loves being on her phone.
What's your screen time? Can we pull that up, Claire?
Yeah, Claire, while we're talking more about Claire's going to pull up her screen time. But yeah, the interview was good. I interviewed a lot of people, and I think that Claire's got the special sauce. She's obsessed with being on her phone, and she's kind of got this crackhead energy, and that was exactly what we were looking for. And she also is on top of it. I think, despite the TikTok, her deleting TikTok and not being able to use it, despite her, you can count on Claire to leave meetings 2 to 3 times meeting because she just doesn't know how to stay on the meeting. But besides all that, she's on top of it. So Claire, screen time.
Let's go.
Screen time. Oh dear God. Okay, let me preface. That's my job. I have to always be.
Hey.
My daily average, 8 hours and 22 minutes.
Holy
I would say, honestly, that's I was expecting way more.
Claire, are you even awake for 8 hours during the day? Oh my God, Geno's is higher. Oh wait, no, that's per week. Oh, that's daily. Geno's is higher,
way higher.
This
get those numbers up, Claire. I can't be having higher numbers than you.
Wait, what's that?
This was Monday.
Can't read it. What does it
10
say?
hours, 50 minutes.
No, 56 minutes. 10 hours and 56 minutes.
How do they like calculate that? Is it like actual like your phone is on?
Yeah, it's like your phone
Yeah.
is on. You're doing like you're looking at it. They got your eyes tracked. They got all that figured out.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Claire, have you always loved being on your phone?
Yeah.
What
I
was your
get-
first phone?
When was my first phone?
Yeah, what was your first
What
phone?
was your first phone?
Yeah.
Oh. Probably like an iPhone 4, I think. But
Dang.
I got an iPod from my cousin, and I remember I was so excited. And there was this one Coldplay song that I would always like listen to on like repeat because it was the only song on it. And then my friends started getting phones in like middle school, and my parents like would not give me a phone. And then ever since, yeah, I mean, I literally do nothing without it ever. And my
Yeah.
parents yell at me constantly.
My first phone, I had one of the ones like this, the flip and text. It had a keyboard.
You had the full keyboard, like the
Yeah,
sidekick?
the full sidekick, full keyboard. Yeah,
Did it swing out?
yeah, it swung up.
Oh
It
my
actually
gosh.
kind of like pushed up. It didn't swing
Yeah,
out.
those
It
are
kinda just
cool.
like swiveled up.
That was the cool one.
Yeah, that was the cool.
I mean, you had the Microsoft Razor.
Yeah.
The Motorola Razor.
Yeah.
The
the flip phone.
I had like one that you slid up. It was smaller.
Dude,
The
that was
slides.
so dope. But
The
having
slides.
those phones were so sick.
Yeah.
All right, we're not gonna do that. So
I
Claire,
not-
let's just address it. Elephant in the room. How hungover are you right now?
Oh my god. Bro, I thought I was gonna be fine this morning. But we you know what,
You can say it.
I'll just
Okay.
tell the story. I'll just tell the story. So we were at our friend's house, and they live like back, like way back in the bushes back here of Chapel Hill, and I think we Ubered there, and then we got out, and we were like in their house, and then we walked across the street to the like there's this giant satellite fraternity house, and we were like looking around, and we were like, oh my god, we should go in. Like, we're friends with these guys, and then one of the guys gets out of his Uber and sees us like in their yard, and he's like, what's up, guys? Like, what are you doing? And we're like, nothing. And then I was like, yo, like, give us a house tour. So we do a house tour of this fraternity satellite house. I wake up, and my friend has taken one of their like giant composites, and it's in our light fixture in our living room. It's like hanging from the ceiling, and I was like, oh my god, we have to go return this. So that's what I'm doing later.
Are you have not returned it?
No, it's still hanging.
What fraternity?
Yeah, what frat?
Beta.
Of course.
Nice.
Classic.
Of course.
Are they pissed or what? Are they gonna
Uh,
come at you guys? You guys gonna be ops now?
Hopefully not. I'm kind of scared. I'm like,
You
But
don't
they-
mess with the beta boys.
I'm scared.
Don't
No,
mess with.
they won't care. They'll hopefully be fine.
So Claire got drunk last night. That's great. Glad that you really prioritized this recording and you're at tip-top shape. Okay, what else? Let's get talking. Claire, how's it been so far? Do you enjoy the job? Do you enjoy creating content? Do you enjoy the Creator Incorporated podcast?
What if I was like, no, it sucks. Actually, I'm quitting right now.
That'd be great.
No. Yes, it's like the best job I've ever had, and I love it. And Jack, it's actually funny you talked about the interview because I like was so curious about that, and I've been curious about that because you like randomly reached out to me, and I did follow. I like connected with you and followed Breaking Entering because I saw some content you did or something. I didn't see the job posting, and I was like, oh, this looks cool, whatever. I like followed it, connected with you, like forgot about it, and then you reached out, and I like looked into it more, and I was like, oh, this looks sick, whatever. I honestly think I might have been hungover that day too, because it was like it was like right around the like New Year's. Like I was home in LA, and I remember I like got on the call with you, and I don't know why I didn't expect it to be an interview. I thought it was gonna be like informational, so I like didn't have any answers prepared. And then Jack is like asking me questions, and I'm like, oh my god, like do a highlight reel. And then he seemed to like it, and I was like, okay, like maybe I'll get this job. But I was like, I probably should have prepared a little bit more, and I was like, whatever. But I like think it stood out to me because I think we got along like off the bat. Like we started talking about like the little basketball hoop I had behind me. I remember that. But yeah, no. So I've also on campus become known as the podcast girl, and like there's clips of me with the mini mics, and like nobody even asked what it was for. They already knew, and everyone like will come up and be like, "Oh, your boss seems so cool." Actually, all my friends think Jack's really hot, and it's like an ongoing thing. But
Hold on.
Alright,
Let's hover there.
Yeah. Hey, I get it. Intrigue. You're creating intrigue. That's pretty funny. So,
But-
how do you feel about that? We can talk about how all of Claire's friends think I'm hot, but how is it being like the podcast girl? Like, are you okay embracing that? Because you kind of like have been thrusted into this position of having to be kind of vulnerable and having to talk about stuff.
Yeah, no, I thrive off that kind of stuff. I think it's so much fun, and I think I always say this, but being able to work and be like so like in close contact with you and Geno, I think has been like probably the best work experience I've ever been able to have like in my life, because it's cool being so close to you guys and seeing how you're building up Break and Entering and what goes into it, like in the background, like even stuff that I'm like not a part of, but as time's gone on, like kind of like becoming more in the loop. So I think that's been fun. But yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's honestly like it's great for my personal brand, because I was kind of already like that. Like I made TikToks in the past.
Yeah.
I actually had like a TikTok account that was like going mental on the internet last fall. Like I think I had like 4 videos in a row go over 3 million views, and I was like, this is my break. This is it. And then I like lost access to the account.
This is like the story, the most predictable thing of all time.
I lost-
Claire has 15 email addresses, and none of them seem to work. I texted her the other day. I said, Claire, we need an email address. Like, do you have a tried and true email address that you know works? She was like, yeah, you can use my school email. And I was like, Claire, is that school email going to be deactivated in 2 months? She was like, yeah. I was like, okay, so then you can't do the school email. So we got Claire at Break Enterpod email.
Yep, that was big time. Use it wisely. You're representing the brand when you email people.
Yeah, Claire, don't freaking sign up for weird.
I can see everything too.
Yeah, everything, all your emails. So stop emailing Dukes asking him.
I didn't email Duke. Stop telling people that. Stop telling people that.
Hey, so how did you feel about that? The Dukes podcast. You got to be in person. You saw it. You saw the podcast. You got to ask a question. How do you think that went? Because that clip got some traction of you asking Dukes the question.
Well, I actually like. I was like low key, like I couldn't clip it up at first because it's like painful for me to like listen to myself talk, and I'm not used to that at all. But then I was like, he actually said like great advice in that clip that I think would be applicable to a lot of people, like especially like my followers on my personal Instagram and like college kids in general. Like, so I was like, you know what, I have to bite the bullet and like get over this and put that clip out. But I think it was really fun being able to like be like, hi Diggs, and talk to him and ask him, because I was genuinely curious. But then I was like kind of embarrassed when I like started. It was like I didn't get the UNC Chicks job, and then he started dying. And you like guys went on that bit, and I like you can hear me like freaking out behind the camera. I was like, stop.
We did go into bit mode. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the hard part, to get introspective, but you are subjecting yourself to potential like embarrassment pretty much.
No, literally.
And that just for like the sake of good content. And I think that stuff is it's hard to find people that are like comfortable with that. I think Geno and I are like share a similar feeling of like thick skin. If you look if something kind of that you think is embarrassing happens, you kind of just like own up to it, and it's like people resonate with that because it's like they're hanging out with their buddies, hanging out with their friends, and like talking crap and going around the horn. And so if you're okay to be in that spotlight and post a clip of you and you thought that you sound like an idiot, but like you don't actually. But like that's the difference. The difference is the difference. Geno always says that.
The difference is the difference.
Mm-hmm. The difference is the difference.
The difference that can make a difference. I got some questions.
Okay.
For you and your vision here.
Let's talk.
So you've had on some amazing guests, like with so much influence, so much reach right now. Can we talk about like some of the highlight moments, and then who are some of the dream guests? Like who's next up? And then Claire, I want your opinion too. Who are some of your dream guests?
Jack's dream guest on his podcast. Do you guys know that? JoJo Siwa. You ever seen that?
No.
Yeah, I do know that one.
What are you saying, dude? It's my turn to talk. So,
Okay, go.
am I good now, Claire? Is it okay if I talk now?
Go.
The highlights so far, the my favorite. I don't want to say favorite guest, but the one that's hit the hardest for me. It was the Garrett from Goldie's episode.
He was fantastic.
He's dope, and that one is the most probably surreal between him and Dukes, just because of the fact that like I had been actually watching and consuming their content for a long time.
Yeah, you're in
And
the target audience.
I'm in that target audience, and that's like talking to Garrett. It's like I was seeing his videos about living in New York, being like upper 20s, 30s in New York, and single, and like getting around the city and navigating all that, and like he was all over my algorithm for a long time. So that one was really cool. That was a big highlight for me. Being able to start with Varun and then Dietitian Cass back to back. That was like, because it makes it so much easier to get better guests and bigger guests when you're able to go and outreach and be like, we just had Varun and Dietitian Cass and Garrett from Goldie's on.
Yep.
And so then people are like, okay, I'll come on. Clearly this guy's like normal, and if they went on it, I can go on it. So starting out with them, being in the apartment, that's so funny that like the first two episodes are in our kitchen. I think it's great that we were able to get that in, because it'll be fun to look back on. But those are the highlights. The low lights, I don't know,
Probably
like
this
right now is a low light
for sure.
Because
You didn't get a guest this week.
We didn't get a guest this week.
So
You didn't get a guest this week. That's
No
just
guess this week.
fact of the matter. Dream guests going forward. I really want. Gosh, who should I go for?
Call him out. Look at the camera.
Yeah, who? Claire, do you have any in mind? Because I gotta think for a second.
I do.
Who's your favorite? Because we might get your dream guest.
Yeah. Who is that? Who is that?
Yes! It has to happen, bro.
What's up?
It has to happen.
You like this guy?
Oh, that guy.
Joe Routh.
Joe Routh. Hub's Life would be a good one. I want to get. Oh, I got my dream
These
guest.
guys too.
Yeah, the Friday Beers guys, Rusty Featherstone. I really want, above all else, I want Hannah Burner. I want Hannah Burner. Giggly Squad.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
That's my dream guest. Because I think I just have I feel like it would be a great conversation. And I think I do well talking to maybe people that aren't similar to me. And I think those are the ones that I look forward to the most. Although, like, when I was talking with Dukes and Garrett from Goldie's, that did feel like the most chemistry.
Yeah.
Most, like, conversational. Because it's just like, oh, like, we're both white 20-something-year-old dudes. Yeah. Who, like...
How old are you?
I'm 26.
Birthday's May.
Birthday in May. I'm going to be 27. So those are some of the dream guests. And then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
And can we talk about like your like interests, like in dating life? Like who are you looking for?
Yes.
What do you like to do? What are your hobbies outside?
I can answer what my hobbies are. I like to go and sit at a coffee shop for like hours. I'll just go and sit down in a coffee shop and listen to music and just sit there.
And then same coffee shop, like go to different ones?
I go to different ones all across Manhattan pretty much.
You like to write?
Blogs? I do blogging. I like to write.
Personal, like not just for like business.
No,
it's
personal.
Like you
personal
have these
blog.
weekly blogs. Yeah,
I write, and those are some of my hobbies. Claire, dream guests.
Dream guests. I think. Well, I really want Brooke Carlson. We've talked about that a little bit. I'm pushing hard. I'm pushing hard for Brooke. But Sophia LaCourte, point blank. That's like, I want her on so bad because I think you and her talking like might be the funniest podcast to ever exist. Like, I think you guys, but I also think you and her would get along better than you like would think. Like, I think.
Why do you think we wouldn't get along?
No, not like not get along, but like you guys are very different. Like
What's different about us?
I don't know. Like, but I also think she has this is just something interesting about creators in general. I think she just has like a very strong persona that she displays online, and I don't think that's actually how she is. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah.
that's always fun to explore.
Yeah.
Is the person, are they different than they are? People that do like skit
Yeah.
comedy is always interesting, or like if they're in like the skit game versus like creators that are just talking to the camera. Those like people that talking to the camera are usually pretty much exactly how you'd expect them to be. It's kind of hard to put on a persona or be someone different
Yeah.
when you're just like talking into a camera. People that do like skits and sketches, like Varun does a lot of like skit comedy, so
Mhm.
he's like a little bit different. And, like he has to act literally for these skits and sketches. So he was interesting to talk to,
Yeah.
and like hear how he like actually thinks about stuff. And he's just like this. He's like a very normal, maybe even like a little bit soft spoken.
Yeah, it's a little cool.
Mhm.
He's a little bit calmer. And then when he has to do the skits and the sketches, you assume he's like this extremely like more outgoing, kind of out there personality. But I think he kind of has a way of like reining it all in.
Like persona.
But
Yeah. That actually like really surprised me about him. Like when I first watched the podcast and then looked at his content, I was like, oh wow, like he's like totally like completely he's definitely like more reserved, I think, like IRL than he is in his
well,
persona.
he's like for sure jaded. Like he's actually jaded from his time working in big tech
Yeah.
and working in startup life. And that's why he has all the content and all the
Mhm.
inspiration, because he actually like despises that culture and he hates kind of how it's set up, and he does see a lot of issues with it, and it
Yeah.
comes out.
Damn.
So he's like it actually sucks.
Yeah.
Like when we talk like
Yeah.
off the
Yeah.
record. That's what you do when you're a podcaster, Claire. You get a lot of these off the record conversations.
Yeah.
So now I'm tight with all of
What
them.
other secrets you got?
I got some secrets.
Come
Some of this. There's some incriminating DMs that are
Bro.
flying.
Has
around.
anybody famous DM'd you, like a check mark, verified influencer?
Grace O'Malley liked one of my TikToks.
Okay. That's
But
cool.
That's cool.
nobody's
She's
slid
doing her
into
own
your
thing. now,
DMs.
What's up, Claire?
No one slid into your DMs.
No,
What?
There's been some DM sliding. There's been some DM sliding for the podcast, for professionally speaking,
Mhm.
to be on the show.
Have you? And then when you do guest outreach, both of you, is it through DM? Like, are you DMing?
It's a
people
lot of
on TikTok?
DM. Claire
comment?
Claire like harasses people in their comments, sometimes, but I typically try to approach it from a DM.
So let the people listening know, like, Claire will be harassing.
Yeah, Claire Claire had a great move that I saw. She wanted to get Brooke Carlson on the podcast, and so she commented on Brooke Carlson's sponsored post
Oh,
because
Less
it
traction?
gets less traction.
Yes. Yes.
very smart.
I was like, that's just genius. There was 3 comments, and 2 of them were Claire, and then the Creator Incorporated
Her
TikTok.
personal-
So
she's even putting her personal on there.
yeah,
That's
Claire's
great.
she is.
I was talking to myself. I was in my profile and then I would comment and then I'd go to the Creator Incorporated and like talk to myself. So it just kept going like back and forth.
Because you read them. Like,
You
Yeah.
read them.
you're
Hey,
gonna scroll through if you have
Yeah.
a video. Like,
You
at
read
some
'em.
point, you might not go back. I mean, you probably go back to them.
Of course I go back to
check
'em.
them. If there's a new one.
And Duke said this. Duke had a good point. He's like, everyone reads all their messages, all their DMs. Like, I've read every single. Like, I don't get a lot, but like I always read them.
Yeah.
And you check out who's talking. But
I also think something like that's great that's coming from podcasts is everybody has like genuinely good advice. Every single person that's come on. Like I know you like mess around with them, you guys have like funny clips, but like at the core, I think the podcast does have a lot of very valuable advice from these people that have been successful in the sphere. And like even for me, like making TikToks, I'll like apply something like Garrett said, and it'll like work. And I'm like, oh, look at that. I should probably
Yeah.
start listening to this.
It is like an experiment to see if this thing can become its own like influencer organization.
it's meta.
Yeah.
It's pretty meta what we're doing and how we're approaching it, because Claire is legitimately just trying to seek TikTok fame via the Creator Incorporated social media pages. I think that's
That's
pretty
true.
clear. But it's a great experiment. That's how it should be. And I will never. Claire has posted some crazy stuff.
No, I
I
haven't.
have not once even thought about being like, don't post or like take that down. So that's why it works. That's why like people who run social media pages actually have success, is because it's just like I trust Claire. I trust her at this point, and if I didn't trust her, she wouldn't be running the social media. So it's like you just gotta trust the process.
Mhm.
And if it flops, or if someone is turned away because of how we are, then that's okay. Like, we're not for everyone. Maybe some people do want lame, boring, dumb stuff, but we essentially have a social media person that just goes around her college campus and posts videos about it, and I think that's great, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah, no, sometimes I do think about that. I like post a video and I'm like, maybe I should have sent this to Jack first.
No, if you feel strongly about it and you think it works, you gotta post it, dog.
Yeah.
So let's talk. Gino, how do you think Claire's been doing?
Very well. Claire does not have that creative control with breaking entering. Let's get that very clear. This is an established brand. There is methods. It is rigid, and it's business to business, so it's different. But what I've noticed is her ability to like take on more, because we opened up a job, like a contractor role for a social media manager on breaking entering advertising side, just to, a lot more project management, a lot more organization, back end stuff, less creative control, like I alluded to. We opened it up, talked with people, and we had a conversation. We're like, well, can Claire do this? Like, why? Well, we both agreed that we should at least give her a call. And you were interested. You said yes right away to take on more. So now you're helping with the scheduling, the posting for all of breaking entering. You've been doing a phenomenal job on that side. So I more so know you in that capacity. But it seems like you and Jack have a really good partnership going on, and it's really fun to see.
We got a good thing going.
Yeah.
When something terrible inevitably happens, that will be electric. But until then,
what do you think? Like, what could happen?
Oh, she's gonna post something. She's
Like,
gonna post something.
No,
She's gonna
in the background. Like,
yes.
like
She's gonna post something, and someone's gonna be in the background, like freaking, their clothes off or something. Like someone like lighting someone else on fire, and Claire's gonna like take a video of it and post it on our account and be like,
what if she feels strongly about it?
Well, it's gonna be like a video of someone lit on fire, and she's gonna say like, new episode this week, be like. That would be crazy. I think
I'm very conscious when it comes to that, because I literally always think about that. Like when I posted the mini mic video, I like watched through and like made sure there wasn't like there was like these clips that I had to remove where this girl like came up and like literally like was like talking shit to the camera, like while my friend was filming, like talking shit directly to the camera about like some random kid at my school. Like for like went on like a 20-minute monologue like to the camera as I was interviewing. Like I didn't know what was happening, but she was in the background. Like she literally was like, "Fuck you," like Connor or whatever his name was. Like went on, so I had to like cut the whole thing. But I was like,
you gotta post that.
What? We can follow that story.
Yeah, we're gonna have to follow this story.
Get his take.
Hey, do it. So, do people like you on campus? Are you liked, or what's the deal?
Yeah, no, Jack. Everyone hates me. Like everyone.
Hey, I gotta ask.
I think so. I don't know. I get like when I was doing TikTok, like, I mean, I was posting like kind of outrageous stuff last fall, and that's I think why I was doing so well, because people were like, "What is wrong with this chick?"
Yeah.
But so like I would hear a lot about that, and everyone was like, "Oh, you want to be famous? Like you want to be an influencer?" And like it was like kind of like almost like taunting. But this was just like adjacent people, like not really like obviously not my friends. Like my friends are very supportive, but like I think that's the most like I don't know. That's like the most hate I get is people are like, "Oh, you like want to be famous? Like what are you doing? Like all this stuff."
Yeah.
I think anybody who makes
what advice do you have for her on that, Jack?
Oh, I mean,
how do you handle that?
No,
you got to figure that.
You got to figure that out on your own. I'm not a freaking therapist. I don't care. Like freaking deal. No, that's just gonna happen. I don't know. I feel like you probably don't get it directly to your face, right? Like if people are talking,
I do.
You get it to your face.
No, like people like talk shit like to my face. Yeah, like random people.
Oh my
It's usually
God.
it's always boys. It's always boys.
Oh, they're like just drunk.
Yeah, they're just like drunk talking shit. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you want to be famous? And I'm like, yeah. What if it works? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, they're probably trying to make a joke, right? Like it's
yeah. I mean, they're just like trolling me, but I'm like,
nice. You got the troll.
That's good. That means you're doing well.
This level of just like influence on UNC Chapel Hill's campus that Claire is creating is pretty interesting.
no,
Is it
it's
do people really like associate? People do know about this podcast, like the Creator Incorporated.
everyone in my like direct circle like knows it exists,
Yeah.
and which like not like even my direct circle, but like the people that I like go out and like like the people you go out you go out and you just know that there's gonna be like a group of like at least like 60 people and you're gonna run into them like
Yeah.
they're also gonna be out like that group definitely knows it exists. But then like random people, I was like doing like something for one of my clubs and like somebody said something about it and they were like, oh my god, like, and people said they actually like have listened to the podcast.
That's great.
That's
I like
that's
it.
shocking. That's great. That's great. Claire, is there anything that Gino and I do that pisses you off?
No.
Timesheets are due today.
Oh, that.
Timesheets. Gino's timesheets guy. Okay. Is there anything that's like you post something or you create something and you're like, I know Jack's gonna say something about this.
Like when I was first starting, I think I got that more because like I had to like figure out like your vision kind of because
Yeah.
I think you have like a very clear vision and I think you're very strategic, and I think like when I first started like didn't really understand the like strategic standpoint or like especially the clips because I think the clips are all like it's all psychological like pull pretty
Yeah.
much. But I think when I was first doing it, I would like mess the clips up a lot. Like I didn't know where to put the captions or whatever, and you would come back and be like, "Fix it." But
I would scream. I would do a lot of screaming. Good cop, bad cop. Bad cop, bad cop is usually the approach I like to take, Claire.
I don't think either of you guys are bad cops.
Oh, Gino wants to be a bad cop.
No, I know.
He tries hard.
I've got it. I've got a little bit in there. I'm gonna
A
let
little
it out
bit left
more.
in the tank. So what do you think? You think this is gonna work? How do you feel about the future of the Creator Incorporated?
I think it's gonna work. Okay, you want to hear my like actual take? I think Jack, independently, you're gonna get really famous.
Wow.
I think from because your TikTok, like I was gonna ask you a question about that. Like your TikTok's doing really well, and I think I tell everybody this. I'm like, my boss is gonna get really famous. Like it's just gonna happen.
Yeah, that's great to hear.
He's Freddie Mercury.
Was there a question in there? You said.
Oh right, yeah. You're you're like with you creating content. What did you change for your videos to start hitting? Because like you consistently have stuff hit. So you change.
Super niche specific stuff hits really hard in New York
Yeah.
because everyone experiences the same thing. The thing that I try to think about is like whenever if I have a recurring thought or if I experience something, and I think it's like relatively funny. I assume that probably a million other people also have experienced that.
Yeah.
But you don't when something happens to you or you experience something or there's like you trip on a certain crack on the sidewalk and on the same street and you notice it all whenever you go, you assume that like, oh wow, like this is just the sidewalk, it affects me. But odds are that a million other people have also tripped on that crack in the sidewalk
Yeah.
and they also experience the same thing. And so what's hit for me is taking that very niche experience and assuming that millions of other people have also experienced that. And so sometimes that is true and that really does relate to people, and that's what gets people to share it because they're like, oh my god, remember when we talked about that crack in the sidewalk? Here's this guy posted about it. That's so wild that someone else had that experience. But then on the flip side, like maybe I am actually the only person that has experienced that and those videos don't do well because they're like, what is this guy talking about? So it's getting super niche, super specific. New York's an easy place to do that
Yeah.
because there are so many people and everyone does kind of experience the same stuff. But that's what's worked the best. Also, no talking. People do not want to hear me talk on TikTok. So every time I've ever literally said more than one word or any words on a TikTok, it never performs well. Only when I have like a longer caption and it's
Yeah.
just like my face and then the
Yeah.
music.
Yeah,
Those perform really well.
yeah. As Ashley said, enough of the men talking. Enough.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was so
Ash-
funny.
she's really funny. Ashley's really funny. I think she is probably the closest to becoming like to breaking through
Mm-hmm.
and becoming extremely famous because she's a
Yeah.
writer. She writes for Teen Vogue.
Mm-hmm.
So Ashley Carter was our most recent episode. Go check that out. She feels like she could break through and really get like to millions of followers status,
Yeah,
She will. She will.
definitely will.
just like me, according to Claire.
Yes. Jack famous.
Hashtag Jack Vance. All right, I think that wraps it up. Claire, any closing thoughts? Are you excited for the future? We're 8
Yeah,
episodes in. The next 8 are going to be even better. We
I'm
got some
excited.
fun stuff coming. Some lore, as the kids say. I would say
Some
there's some
lore.
lore developing.
Oh my god, yeah. The Creator Incorporated, I think, has potential. Wait, I'm getting something. I think
Yeah,
the Creator
great. Oh, no
Incorporated.
worries.
I think the Creator Incorporated has potential to definitely have like some serious lore, as we've seen.
There's going to be some lore.
There's gonna be lore.
But yeah, I agree. Gino, any closing thoughts?
No, keep on rocking it. This experiment is awesome. You know, you got all these amazing influencers.
You
Look
see
at
it?
this. Look at that.
His homie was hotter. One of our
That's what
first
was
calls, Claire, I saw that in the background on Claire's camera. And I was
Yeah,
like, what the hell is that? And so now I want it. I want to have it. I want to hang it up back here.
it's gonna be up. Once I graduate, I'll come drop it off.
Dope.
Love it. No, keep up the good work. That's all I got.
Hey, appreciate it. That's all we got. Episode 8 in the books. Yeah. Talk to you
Excellent.
later. More guests, more fun. Bada bing, bada boom, Mr. Worldwide as I step in the room.